Rashad, now you ain't no Rashad. You done television way no times. No, turn your microphone on. No, you on mute.
Coming in here and already getting in trouble, cutting up.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. You must got that cricket Wi-Fi.
Oh, the versus Wi-Fi.
Like we can't hear him at all. Oh Lord.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Rashad come in, he's slowing all the momentum down.
There we go. Like you see, I have good lighting. I've got everything, but somehow I think the microphone transferred over to my phone. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're gonna have some words for you in the group chat later.
Oh Lord.
I deserve it. I'll take it.
Errin, go ahead.
Well, listen, thank you, Rashad, for being with us, and also for all the work that you have been speaking out against press freedom. I mean, I saw you in action almost as soon as these arrests were announced. Saw you and Jane Fonda with the Committee on the First Amendment speaking out on these issues. What really does collective defense of the First Amendment look like beyond newsrooms? We're seeing such a groundswell of public support.
Yeah, I mean, authoritarianism only works if all the sectors of society comply. And so in so many ways, the Committee on the First Amendment, which Jane Fonda and a wide range of creatives and celebrities in Hollywood formed October 1st, was sort of relaunching something that Jane Fonda's father, Henry Fonda, and so many others were part of during the McCarthy era. But it is a sort of recognition when these type of attacks come to our freedoms, whether it's the right to protest, the right to a free press, the right to speech. We need all factions of society standing up. We need universities, we need business, we need Hollywood and media. We need all of those factors, all of those pillars of society to not comply. And so that is really the theory of change behind this work, is how do we get people in motion using their power and their platform and their relationships to be able to push back in really clear and strategic ways and help move more people into action to push back. But the work of holding those that enable, whether it is racism, whether it is homophobia, whether it is misogyny, whether it is all of the ways in which we are under attack, being able to hold the enablers, whether they be corporations, whether they be those in government accountable, has been at the heart of my work since I've been doing this work. And it's really great to be part of this effort right now and in this moment, hopefully getting more people to see what's at stake.
You know, Rashad, it's always interesting when I see these polls come out. They say journalists, people's impressions or opinions of journalists at an all-time low. They are just right above used car salesmen and lawyers. And this is what I always say. Okay, that's great. But here's what my experience has been. When folks get their ass in trouble, they often call a journalist before they call a lawyer.
Yeah.
It's amazing the number of people, whether they're in prison, whether they've been fired, whether they are going through trouble. My email is filled up. My entire career, it's always been the case. When people need help, they often are calling media. So I never pay any attention to those stories because I always say, you know what? If your life is going good, okay, that's fine. But when you get in trouble, the two people you're going to call, journalists and lawyers.
Yeah. You know, it's always funny what we say we're for or against until we're like under attack. You know, I know people that you know, like don't want to have anything to do with a higher spirit, but when something goes down, they're like, you know, praying.
Lord, listen, I mean, churches, mosques, and synagogues were packed after 9/11.
Right. And so you know, even the question around lawyers, when people need a lawyer, like, or when they have their backs against the wall, they go and they get a lawyer. And so I do think, you know, I think it's really important to put this in context that the polls may give us a snapshot where people are at, but they oftentimes don't give us their motivation. And they certainly don't tell us what people do when their backs up against the wall, and they don't tell us what people need in moments of crisis. And so that is the job of those that are writing the stories of our time. That's the job of activists like me to help make sense. So whether it's journalists or people who are trying to motivate people to action, we are the ones that are often trying to make sense of how the world looks and giving people, whether it's the information as journalists do, to be better citizens, to be better informed, whether it's or the work that I try to do every day, which is help people figure out how to take action in the most strategic ways. This is part of the work. And I think for people who are sort of watching what's happening at home and maybe think they're sort of a step removed from what they can do or how they can engage, one of the ways you should be thinking about all of this is that you probably have a job, or maybe know someone that has a job that has a pension fund. Where is that pension fund being invested? You may have went to a university, has an endowment. Who's investing that endowment? Is Bill Ackman investing in, or is it being invested in places that are working against your power? Like, these are all opportunities every single day that we begin to take on those that are enabling this moment we are in. Because the inequality that's happening, the attacks on journalism that's happening, the attacks on our ability to even fight for a better future, right? Like, Roland, every single day, Errin, every single day, you help us make sense of so many different issues that are important to the community. But the issue of the First Amendment is not simply like about whether or not we care about this issue or that issue. It's about whether or not we even can fight for the things that we care about, whether we can even raise our voice, whether we can even push back in moments of crisis. And so that for folks who are like paying attention, we all have a role in being able to protect our ability to fight for a better future, to fight for the things that we care about.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's exactly right. And why you're seeing this so much of this public support, because people are understanding this is not just about any one journalist, about any one protest. This is about the public's right to know. And so now that folks are increasingly engaged and paying attention to this issue, it is important that they have kind of the tools and an assignment, frankly, for them to know how they can support trusted messengers in their communities, and how they can be getting and committing to, getting accurate and honest information.
Yeah, I hope that people visit our Instagram at 1A Committee. I hope people will sign up or go to the website actually and just check out what we're doing. This is really a committee for those who are in the industry, in the Hollywood industry, who are making content, writing, producing on air, in television and movies. But what we're trying to do is organize this sector. But every single one of us lives in a sector in society. We are, we work in a business. We are part of a faith community. We have all sorts of ways in which we engage every single day. And we're going to need more of us to use the place in the space that we occupy to fight, to stand up, to use those spaces to say enough is enough. A line has been crossed. And that, I think, hopefully, if anything comes out of these deep attacks that are happening, it's a recognition that we have to build what's coming ahead. And, I oftentimes say there is no time machine that I want to get in, go back to, maybe for music or clothes. But for the most part, I don't want to get out of a time machine at a different time. I want us to go forward. And part of what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to fight for what the future looks like. And that means that we need to take some of these rights forward with us. And in order to do that, we're going to need all of us in the battle and in the effort. And so I'm so glad that you all are bringing us together in this conversation, this moment. And hopefully folks who are watching recognize that it's our responsibility to not just be passive observers, to not just sometimes retweet or amplify, but to do things in our own spaces and places, to call in the people in our lives, in our communities who are not speaking up, to hold the institutions that are accountable that we may give our money to or that we may be engaged with. All of this is part of the work at creating an environment where people recognize that things have changed and it's not enough to be silent. It's not enough to simply be silent, that we have to do more.
That's right. All right, Rashad Robinson. He ends with, "It's not enough to be silent," and we luckily got his microphone on.
I set you
Robinson,
up.
Rashad Robinson for the Committee for the First Amendment. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
All right, I think